How to use a camera for beginners. In this video, I will explain how to use a DSLR camera, covering the basics. Everything won't be fully covered to keep the video as short as possible. If you like content like this, hit the subscribe and like button to see more videos like this. Let's get into it. First, what is a DSLR camera? A DSLR camera, which stands for Digital Single Lens Reflex Camera, is a type of camera that combines all the mechanics of a traditional SLR camera with a digital imaging sensor. It is widely used for photography and videography due to its versatility, image quality, and an ability to use interchangeable lenses. The main components of a DSLR camera are the lens, the body, and the viewfinder. The lens determines how the subject appears in terms of size, clarity, and perspective. There are different types of lenses such as zoom, prime, and specialty lenses. Prime lenses have a fixed focal length and cannot zoom in or out. Zoom lenses can zoom in and out between a certain focal length, such as 18 to 55 millimeters. This is the most common lenses that come with DSLRs out the box. Specialty lenses, such as macro, telephoto, and wide-angle lenses, are used to focus on something close-up, far away, or view more of the scene. The body of the camera is where the internal and external components of the camera are. Internal components would be the image sensor, shutter, and processor. The external components would be the buttons, memory cards, batteries, etc. The viewfinder is where the camera displays its optical view. The viewfinder shows a real-time view of the scene as light passes through the lenses. The LCD screen, when used in live view mode, shows a digital preview directly from the sensor. These are two different things. Second, let's get into the buttons on the camera. There are many buttons on the camera, such as the mode dial, shutter button, ISO button, and more. The mode dial allows you to select different shooting modes, such as auto, manual, aperture priority, shutter priority, and program mode. Auto mode allows the camera to choose the settings. This is best for beginners. Manual gives you full control over the f-stop or the aperture, shutter speed, and ISO. Aperture priority allows control over the f-stop while the camera adjusts the shutter speed. Shutter priority does the opposite. It allows control over the shutter speed while the camera adjusts the aperture or f-stop. In program mode, the camera chooses the aperture and the shutter speed but allows you to adjust other settings. The shutter button is what you press to capture a photo. It is generally located on the top right side of the camera body. The ISO button adjusts the camera's sensitivity to light. Lower values such as 100 are used in bright, well-lit conditions such as outside on a sunny day. Higher values such as 3200 are used in dark, low-light environments. Higher ISOs are useful in low-light situations but can also add noise. Lower ISO values produce cleaner images. Additional buttons on the camera would be the shutter speed control, focus selector, LCD stream, viewfinder, exposure, and more. But to keep the video from getting too long, I won't dive too deep into this. Third, I will explain how to focus. Focusing is an essential part of photography. This is what makes your photos sharp and clear. DSLR cameras offer two primary focusing methods: auto and manual focus. Autofocus automatically adjusts the focus for you. This is great for beginners, and this is the most commonly used method. The autofocus switch is located on the lens or the camera body, depending on your camera. It will be shown as A on some cameras, AFS, or AFC on other cameras. In autofocus mode, pressing the shutter button halfway will automatically focus on the focus point. The focus point can be automatically chosen in auto mode, or you can select to manually choose it for more precision. Manual focus mode allows you to adjust the focus yourself using the focus ring on your lens. It's ideal for scenarios where autofocus might struggle, such as poorly lit or low lit environments. The manual focus switch is located on the lens or camera body, just like the autofocus. It will be shown as M or MF. Look through the viewfinder or live view on the LCD screen to check your sharpness. Last but not least, tips. Start in auto mode. If you don't understand the camera, this is the fastest way to get to taking photos right out the box. That way you don't have to understand aperture yet, shutter speed yet, or ISO to take a really good photo. Just put in the auto and just start taking pictures. But you do need to understand what these things are. Understand what the aperture is, aka the f-stop, because some people would call it f-stop, some call it aperture. It is the same thing. Shutter speed and ISO. You need to understand those three things. Those are some of the three most important things you need to understand when it comes to using a camera. Because I'll give you a brief idea of what they all do. The aperture controls your depth of field. If you have a very larger number, like say 8.5, then if you're looking at a group of people, everybody will be in focus. But if it's a smaller number, like 3.5, one guy can be in focus and the other guy standing behind him can be out of focus, because your f-stop controls the depth of field of a photo. Your shutter speed controls motion blur and sharpness. Higher numbers would make moving objects appear still. Let's say you want to take a picture of a moving car. With a higher shutter speed, such as 500, 600, if you take a photo of that car, it'll look like it's not moving. It'll look still. But on the flip side, if you make it real low, like 20 shutter speed, everything that's moving going to be blurry. ISO controls the camera sensitivity to light, which makes what you're looking at in the camera either brighter or darker. The higher you go, though, the more the camera tries to compensate and add more noise and grain to the footage. So you want to try to keep it as low as possible. And if you're in a real dark place, you want to just add light to it. That way you can avoid keeping ISO too high. Another tip: invest in a tripod. Tripods stabilize the camera better than our hands, which can lead to a lot of unwanted camera shake, which is going to not look really good. Camera shake can be reduced in editing, but it's best to avoid it if possible. Another tip: practice, practice, practice. Practice taking photos of the environment, take photos of animals, trees, people, everything. Well, I wouldn't just say random people, without their consent, but you know what I mean. Just take as many photos as possible so you can get a better hang of using your camera. And then another tip, and this is a very important one too: always carry extra batteries and memory cards, because there's nothing worse than running out of power or running out of storage space because you didn't properly prepare. Because nothing ends a photo shoot faster than your memory than the battery dying or your memory card getting full. So now you can't do anything more than that. But to avoid the video from getting too long, I'll just stop right there. And if you like what you heard, be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Comment on anything else you want me to further elaborate on. Appreciate you for watching the whole video. Yeah.